film, someone came along with a camera, digital camera, no need for the business. There's one problem with that story. Actually, it was Kodak that invented the digital camera back in the 70s. They actually came up with it. But again, risk aversion, they were, we have a good business, we don't want to risk things. And so they sat on it, eventually other people did it, they weren't able to develop it, went out of business. And it's the same thing we see in the startup world. Right? So, has anyone heard of Iridium? Anyone know this case? This is back in the 80s. Exactly. So, back in the 80s, Motorola said, well, we got this thing where people don't have to talk on a landline. We're going to use satellites for people to speak. Right? And so they said, we're going to shoot up 60 satellites into space. And this is going to, and they did. It took 12 years to do this. They started in the 1980s. What happened in those 10 years? You started getting cell phones that you didn't have to use a satellite, you could just speak in cell towers, right? But they were too scared to change the model. They just kept going. They launched this. The starting cost of this in 1988 was, 1998. It was $3,000 for a phone, and it was $5 a minute to speak.